Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting cruise review. Today I'm reviewing my 2-night sailing on board the MSC Divina, which sailed from Miami to Nassau and back in February of 2024. It was my first time on board MSC, so I was excited to see what was so different about MSC compared to my normal cruise lines like Royal Caribbean or Carnival. So let's get started, but before we do, if you like this video, give it a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Armed with MSC Diamond status, which was given to me via MSC's status match program, I was a top tier cruiser without ever having sailed MSC before. Arriving at the terminal, I had no wait to visit the elite desk for check-in. MSC verified my documents quickly and handed me a boarding card, which it turns out I didn't need as I was Diamond and was allowed to board immediately before other guests. My first goal was to drop off my bags in the room. MSC is a little bit different than other lines in that they let me drop my bag off in my room even if it was being cleaned, which was a really nice benefit. A lot of times you just have to drag the bag all over the place before your room's ready. Next, I was headed to lunch in the buffet. I was really excited to try the pizzas. I had heard amazing things about it. It absolutely did not disappoint. The best that I have had at sea, and not ashamed to say I stopped by a couple of times during my short sailing to sample it again. The buffet had a lot of other upscale options as well that I was used to seeing like on more upscale cruise lines like Celebrity, like prosciutto and Italian cheeses on the buffet. They had great options for a budget cruise line, which was surprising to me as there are a lot of negative reviews about the food on MSC, and I really didn't see that too much. I'm really not much of a pool lounger, but I would have been very upset if I was, since the main pool was closed for much of the voyage for repainting. This also affected the sail away party since most of the deck was closed because of the repainting. My room was ready shortly after lunch, where I found some more diamond gifts like a full bottle of delicious Prosecco, some macarons, and some chocolate. It's great for me for a 2-night sailing, especially since MSC doesn't allow you to bring your own beer or wine on board like other cruise lines. The weirdest thing on MSC is the muster drill. They require everyone to be in their rooms for the drill to watch a video and listen for the announcements. When that's all over, you're supposed to dial a number on your phone to check off your attendance. It's a very strange way to do things, but it was over quickly enough. After that, I did some ship spotting on the way out of Miami, which is one of my favorite sailways on Earth. I was a little delayed due to some unknown issue and ran into my dinner time, which was on the top floor at the Galaxy Sushi restaurant, which is strangely also the nightclub. This was mostly a miss sushi meal for me. This menu for my pre-booked dining options I had procured pre-cruise was pretty limited and inflexible. They also were out of the green tea ice cream, which is one of my favorites, but overall I just thought that the quality of fish just wasn't all that great. Next, I wanted to try out the production show, which had some talented singers from around the world, and simply played some energetic hits, which I loved. Often the entertainment on board ships can be really hit or miss, so I was happy to be entertained. I turned in shortly after to my inside cabin, which I loved. Lots of room for me as a solo sailor and a comfortable bed overall. It had a really small TV, smaller than other ships that I've seen. But I rarely use the television on board my cruises, and it was a fairly typical bathroom setup. So if you're someone who's not really too picky, I don't think you'll have any issues with the cabins on board the MSC Divina. So our only port on this sailing was the next day, and that was Nassau, Bahamas. Not typically my favorite cruise port, but many cruises stop there. I'd booked an island tour via Viator, one of my favorite booking agents for booking excursions, but that was canceled last minute, and I had to scramble to find something else to do. The ship was offering a steep discount for a Blue Lagoon excursion for the day. It was something like $45 for me to go for an all-day excursion to the private island. So this is not a private island excursion, this is something that other cruise ships do sell each day, so you do see other ships of passengers on the island with you. But I did decide to join up, and overall I had a great day on shore. The line to get onto the boat to take us over to the private island was absolutely ridiculously long. Lots of people were complaining, and it was just pure chaos. So that wasn't a great experience at all. But once we got on board, it got a lot better, even though it was a little bit drenching of a boat ride to get over to the Blue Lagoon, but that's not really the Blue Lagoon's fault. The Blue Lagoon does offer a number of different activities on the island, but I really just used it for lounging on the beach that day. If you're interested in swimming with dolphins or sea lions and that sort of thing, they do have that there on the island. Drink prices weren't exactly a deal, but that's fairly typical for the Bahamas, so nothing too shocking there. The tour did include a buffet lunch that had some really great island favorites of mine. Overall, it was a pretty good meal. I hopped back on board the boat at the end of my day, which dropped me off at the far end of the port, and that's mostly so that you can do some shopping and eating on your way back to the Divina. In my experience, it seems like every tour basically drops off at the far end of the new port that they've just built. On board, I wanted to take a trip down the water slide. Well, I still had my suit on before showering up for more onboard fun. That was a really good water slide. That's all included in your cruise, completely free. So lots of kids obviously enjoying their time, and some adults like myself. I did try out the 4D theater on my voyage, which was definitely a unique activity to participate in. You had a number of different movies to choose from, and the overall movie itself was pretty cheaply made, but it was fun to do a 4D film. They also have a F1 simulator that I didn't try, but that was definitely a more European on-theme activity for MSC, and that was about $10, I think, for one drive around the track, or two laps, I believe. But I couldn't help but wish that there were more things to do on board, especially free ones. There were a lot less organized activities for sailors to participate in compared to other lines. Even though it was a short sailing, there were many gaps throughout the day that I just felt a little bored and kind of had to find my own fun. A lot of times there's just more, fun things that are planned by the cruise ship and just something to get you out of the cabin and get you in and around the ship. I did have another dinner planned that evening at Butcher's Cut, which is the other specialty restaurant on board. That is the ship's steakhouse. It was a fantastic meal, and steakhouses really never disappoint me on ships. They just always seem to be pretty good. So wine prices were also pretty reasonable on board, pretty much across the board. So I didn't mind springing for some Italian red with my steak. Finally, my night ended with another production show, which was the same cast, but different songs, and really no story or anything, just playing the hits. It was really great, really a lot of fun. And then debarkation the next day was not the quickest that I've experienced, but it wasn't necessarily too long either, and I was off and on my way fairly quickly. So now the big question is, would I cruise MSC cruises again? In my opinion, I would absolutely, but I would make a few adjustments. For one, I would probably bring a group of friends or family along next time. While I did love the ship, I love the quality of everything, the food, the entertainment that was there. There was a lot more downtime, as I mentioned, on the ship compared to other cruises that I've sailed on, so I would want to have some loved ones with me for next time. If you're thinking of sailing the Divina, probably because of the price, I wouldn't hesitate to book her for a quick weekend getaway, though understanding that there is a lot of nickel and diming on board MSC cruises, especially compared to other cruise lines. And that's something that I would expect with such a low cruise price, but a lot of people definitely did not. I would probably book an excursion, or an itinerary rather, over to their island, Ocean Cay. I haven't visited yet, but I hear great reviews, and it's one of the better private islands in the Bahamas, so definitely check that out. The ship itself, compared to other cruise lines that might be priced similarly or even a little bit higher, I did feel like the MSC Divina was in much better shape and had way more elegant styling than a lot of those other ships. So I do not hesitate at all to book another MSC cruise. I just now know a little bit more of what I'm walking into before I step on board. So I do hope that this video helped you maybe make that decision. If you're looking to book a cruise, you can always reach out to us to our email on our profile. And thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you on the next video.